So my last few videos have been me sharing my first grade curriculum picks, kindergarten curriculum picks, my core family subject curriculum picks, and today is a little bit more of the extracurricular, elective, or like optional fun family subjects, however you want to term that. Hi and welcome. Thanks for joining me today as we continue with curriculum picks. This is almost my last video. I say almost because I do have one more video coming out, not where I show you anything new, but where I pull out all the pieces from my last 4 video curriculum picks, my kinder, first grade, family subjects, and now my kind of elective or fun family subjects. And I pull out the pieces from all of those that have come from Ambleside Online because I've had a couple of people ask me to show them what I'm using from Ambleside Online. So I kind of showed them within all my stuff, but I want to pull them out and show you specifically which pieces came from there. So I guess it's not new information, but kind of additional information. So that will be my final one on our curriculum fix. But today is our elective, extracurricular family subjects that aren't as important. I don't know what you want to call them. They're fun stuff. They're optional. They're extras. So that's what we're doing. But don't forget to check out the playlist below because this video is going to be part of a collaboration hosted by Davina at Common to Chaos and Shauna at Homegrown Homeschool. And lots of moms are going to be sharing their extracurricular or elective picks for the coming year. So check out that playlist to see what they're doing. I'll link the channels to the 2 ladies who are hosting this and who have their own homeschool channels. Check them out. They've got some great resources for you. But to get down to it, I'm going to show you these in no particular order. I had a few that I know I want to be doing, and then I have a couple that I'm still kind of figuring out. So I'll show you what those are or mention what those are, but they're not set in stone. And when I say set in stone, honestly, most of the things in this video are not set in stone. There are some things that I would really like to do. There's some things that I think would be really fun, and I'm going to try to do them, but I realize I have a lot that I've chosen between what they're doing individually, what they're doing for our family. And then these, I realize I have a lot on my plate and I'm okay with that because I am okay dropping things if it doesn't work. So as I show you these, don't freak out and go, you got way too much. You're going to like drown your kids. No, we'll drop them if we need to. We'll figure it out. And we're not doing all of these every day. This is not like everything I've showed you in the last few weeks is not going on every day. But let's start. So one thing that I started last year, we dropped because one of my children wasn't quite ready for it and I hadn't found a rhythm for it. But I really want to pull back in this year as my younger daughter is a little older and try to do it again is German. This is Homeschool Languages, German 1. We made it just about halfway through this book before I put a pause in it and just said, you know what, I don't think it's working quite how I wanted to this year. But I still really, really like this and I would still really like to teach my kids German while they're young. So, my goal is to be pulling this in throughout the summer to get some sort of routine and rhythm and then continue with that in the school year once we found a rhythm so that, it's part of this problem with some of these extra stuff is because they're not the necessary, they do get dropped at the end of the day or you just haven't figured out how to weave them in. So I'm hoping if we can create kind of a routine over the summer, then that this will work for us this coming school year. So this is one of the things we want to pull in. Okay, another thing that I want to pull in is poetry memorization. Now, I'm showing you this because this is the sample from IEW's Linguistic Development Through Poetry Memorization. I was listening to Andrew Pudewa's talk, and he sold me on memorizing poems. I'm not planning to buy their curriculum, but they do have a list of all the poems and all the levels. I think there's 5 levels that they use, and he has mentioned that they are from the public domain. So while I will not have the audio recordings, which I would really like of him doing the poems for the kids, and I won't have the illustrations or the poems printed out, I can go find these poems in the public domain and start. And so I'm excited about this. I think my kids will love doing this together. They're fun. The first poems are fun and goofy and silly and short, and they're going to just have a blast. Okay, another thing that we're going to start integrating in the summer, and this is something that we're going to be doing on the weekends rather than in our school day, and my husband's going to be doing with us, so we'll see how that all goes. I'm going to take this cover back because I think this will create terrible glare if I leave it, is this exploring nature with children. We're going to start a nature walk. We're going to try to do it Saturday or Sunday. I'm not going to do anything intense. We're not going to go anywhere crazy. We're going to walk down our street over to our neighborhood where there is a little stream running along a path and it gets overgrown with trees and rushes and all that stuff. And that's a nice nature spot to explore. They advise picking like one spot that you revisit throughout all the seasons. So we're going to try this. So my goal is with this that there's some picture books and some art study that go along with each week. I'm going to try to do those with my kids throughout the week. And then on the weekend with Dad, we'll go for a walk and we'll kind of talk about what we've learned. I'll read up on a little bit of information so I actually have some sort of knowledge about what we're talking. And we're going to try and incorporate this. I'm really hoping that this works because I think it could be a really good fit for us. Um, it's hard to know. I haven't done much in this realm, and I'm not naturally a super nature walky person, so it will be a stretch for me, but I'm hoping that this works out well because I think it'd be good for my kids. So like I said, we're gonna try to incorporate this in the summer over the weekends and then just continue it in our school year. So I'm kind of excited about that one. Hopefully that works for us. Okay, another one that we're gonna be doing on the weekends with my husband is this Connoisseur Kids. Um, and this is essentially a little book of etiquette for young children. It says etiquette, manners, and living well for parents and their little ones. And I looked through this and I was kind of charmed. It's got 7 different sections on etiquette. So we have communication, table manners, tidiness, thinking of others, hygiene and grooming, and health. And it has a little like talk about it, give you some good proper instruction. And that has games or activities that you do to practice what you've learned. And so there's different aspects in each of those sections that you talk about and then do a little game or activity or something related to. And so we're going to try to do this on the weekends with my husband as well as kind of just something I'd like my kids to start thinking about. It's never too young to have good manners, and it's never too young to instill those for when they're adults. People with manners are so much more charming and enjoyable to be around than people who don't know how to have good manners. So it's something I do want to teach my kids. So that's one thing. Okay, so another thing that we're going to be doing that I consider kind of an elective would be our poetry tea time. Now I'm calling it poetry tea time, but really this is going to be a rotation tea time. So one week we're going to do poetry. One week I'm going to do a picture and a hymn study together. No, sorry, picture and music study together. So we'll study a picture and we'll listen to the music at the same time and talk about both. And then one week I want to do a hymn study. Now for the poetry, I'm just going to pull anthologies from the public library and get some fun poetry books. I'll just rotate through ones that we like. I don't have them all picked out, but Ambleside Online has some good recommendations. I'll just find ones we like and work through those. For our composer and then artist studies, I'm going to be using Ambleside Online as a resource for that. And then for our hymn study, I found this book, which is older, and I don't think it's in print anymore, so I had to get it used, but it's called Hymns for a Kid's Heart, and this is volume 1. They have 2 volumes, and they have a Christmas and an Easter-themed volume, I believe, but essentially, it's got, like, 9 to 12 hymns and came with the CD, so you can listen to the hymn. It's got the sheet music if you wanna sing it and the verse, and then it's got just a little so, like, this is one, a little short story on the history of a hymn, just front and back, and then a little devotional on the topic of the hymn. It got the hymn with the words and a little verse and a prayer. So very short and concise. I thought it'd be fun to do some sort of hymn history, like the authors who wrote it, what was the story behind him, but most of them were way too advanced for a kindergartner and first grade. I think this is right at their levels, and I think it's going to be fun to do with them and just kind of get to know them a little bit. I do want my kids, not hymns, my kids to be familiar with hymns. It's something I grew up with, not solely hymns, but I grew up knowing a lot of hymns, and they have such good words. They have amazing stories behind some of them. They're just so rich. And so it's something I want my kids to be familiar with. So I'm looking forward to doing that with them. Okay, so those are kind of the ones that I've set on. And then there's a few that I have in the back of my mind, like if this works, I'd like to pull them in. So I'm going to share them with you, but I have not decided for sure that we're using any of these over our coming school year. And I've not decided how or when or if these are just kind of like I'd like to do some of them if they work out, but I'm not set on it. I do want to do, well, I go, okay, there is one category that I do want to do. I do want to do some sort of physical safety or health or hygiene books with my kids. One of them that I do know we will be using is Before I Was Born. Knew my name. We're going to pull this in. I haven't decided what other books I'm going to be pulling in with that. So that category is still open, but I do want to pull something in that category. The other things that I'm not sure we'll be using, but I would kind of like to, if it works, is Lee's Dash into Learning, these Dash into Happy series. They're kind of a social emotional learning curriculum centered around fairy tales. We are going to be doing these this summer for sure, but then they recommend going through it more than once. So I thought, well, if we went through it this summer, then maybe kind of mid-school year, maybe if we pulled these in at some point, it'd be kind of fun. So I'm not set on pulling these in after the summer once we've gone through it once, but if we really enjoy it this summer, then I might consider pulling them in again and kind of going through them a little bit deeper a second time around. So that's one option. Another one that I would love to pull in, if it works and if I feel my kids are at the proper stage developmentally, which is why we dropped it last year, is this Drawing with Children. I think it's a great resource. I think my older daughter would do well, but my younger daughter just isn't there yet. And so I just don't want to do one at a time. So if I feel like my younger daughter reaches a point where we could all do this together, then I would consider pulling it in, but I'm not set on that. We'll just kind of play it by ear with that. And then the last thing that I might pull in, I might not, just kind of depending on how things go and if I feel like it's a good thing for my kids or if it's just too much, would be This is my calendar book. I tried doing this last year, and my younger daughter, again, just wasn't there. She wasn't old enough, and so we just dropped it, which is fine. It's okay to drop things that aren't working. But I would like to pull it in again if I feel like it's a good fit. So those are things that I'm kind of going to play by ear, and just if it's a good fit, we'll pull them in, and if not, then no stress. Okay, that's everything. It's a lot. I know it's a lot when you look at this along with my other picks. And like I said, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with dropping things if they don't fit. If things don't work, we'll adjust. We'll make it work. But I don't mind being prepared for a little extra and having things that I want to do, because if I don't have things that I want to do, I'll never pull those extras in. Whereas if I have them planned and we use them, we can always drop them, but at least they're there and we'll use them if it works. Whereas if I don't plan on it at all, then I just won't pull it in at all. I know myself. If I don't have it there, I won't use it. So I have these things here. I have them ready. I'm excited about them. I think a lot of them my kids are going to love. I think these extracurriculars are the fun ones. I think they're the things my kids are going to enjoy the most out of some of these things. So I'm really hoping they work out for us. I would love to know what some of the extracurricular or extra fun school you guys are going to be doing this year. Comment those below. If you want to see inside any of these, let me know. Any videos of reviews or flip throughs that I already have for these, I'll post those below so you can see inside anything that I've already done. And again, don't forget to check out that playlist to see what other moms are sharing as far as their extracurricular picks. I'm going to be watching those as well, because I love curriculum pick videos. These might be some of my favorite ones to watch, and also some of the fun ones to make. So I hope that you guys are having fun watching these and getting some good ideas. And don't go nuts and don't go FOMO. It's okay for you not to do what everybody else is doing, including what I'm doing. It's okay for you to see what I'm doing and go, that's cool, and I'm not going to do it. Not that I need to give you permission, but sometimes I feel like we do need permission for that. So as I watch other mods' videos, I'm going to give myself permission not to do what they're doing, to mark things that I think are cool for another time, but not to feel like I need to take on what everybody else is doing. So with that, I hope that you guys are having a great week and that you guys are enjoying preparing for your coming school year.